Hello Flosstube. It is time for my April recap. Welcome to my channel if you're new or coming back. On my channel you will find both cross stitch and paper crafting. If it says Facebook Live, that's usually paper crafting. Flosstube is my cross stitch. I have a ton of stuff to show you from this month. I went to Stitch North last weekend. So I have stuff to show from that, stuff I purchased, gifts I was given, lots of stuff. I'll save that to the end. While I was at Stitch North, I was visiting a friend of mine that lives in Toronto. We did some fully finishing, so I have that to show you. Temperature stitching, whip go, and other whips. So we're going to get started because I have a lot to go through today. We will start with fully finished, and I have my notes down here, so that's why I look down here. And I forgot my board. One moment, I'm going to pause and get it. Okay, I'm back. So the first thing, losing things. The first thing I'm going to show you, this is from Jingle Ball of last year. Now, I didn't stuff these before I traveled home, so they've not been stuffed. But this is #joy. And so we worked on it together and got all of this done. I'll tell you, all of this, we spent all afternoon getting this front part done. And then I was not lucky enough to get the kit, so I bought the felt and the buttons separately. So I didn't have the fabric, but luckily my friend had some fabric that works just fine. So that is just ready to stuff and finish closing up. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put all this stuff. So many things. This is Lizzie Kate little kit that I've had forever, and it came with everything you need. This fabric, there's some orange ribbon that I'll tie a bow on it after I've stuffed it. And so you use the fabric, cut a piece of it off for the bottom, and then use the same fabric on the back. So again, that is just ready to be stuffed. Sorry, I'm shaking the table. And closed up. All right, and then my last fully finished is something that my friend Michelle gave to everybody. So the table that I was at, those ladies had stitched together before several times. So it was table 27, and they were very welcoming and invited me into their group. I mean, I was with my friend Michelle, but they were very nice, included me. But they were at Hobby House the weekend before. And so Michelle had given them all a kit to do, and then she was going to help us all get it fully finished this weekend at Stitch North. So we would leave with a fully finished object. And here it is. I think this is a freebie, and I don't remember who it's by. But she had these little frames for us that she painted. And so we stitched it. And I need to do some more hot glue on mine. We stitched it all, and then she had these jingle bells and the baker's twine we tied on there. So it is all ready to go out for Christmas this year. And it's on a 25 count with the little snowflakes or whatever. We decided mine was definitely an Arkansas piece because it doesn't have a lot of snow. So most of the other ladies were from Canada or somewhere up north. But mine wasn't definitely an Arkansas piece. It didn't have as much snow. All right, so those are what I'm calling my fully finished. And then I did have several finishes this month. It's such a good feeling. This temperature stitching has really been helping. Now this one I finished at Stitch North. So this is Chubby You by Jeanette Douglas, and this is on 32 count tin roof. So it's not the called for, but it's very similar to the called for fabric. So I finished that at Stitch North, and I got to go ring the bell that I finished something. So that was fun. This was one of my temperature stitch pieces that I finished. This is Seasons of the Heart Spring by Brenda Gervais. I have not ironed anything. I just got home yesterday evening. So that's the spring one. And then this is Luck of the Irish from Primrose Cut. This is on, I think it's Vintage Country Mocha. I have the rest of them on the same thing, and so I don't have the piece that actually has the name of it on here. And this is from Primrose Cottage, Luck of the Irish, and this is on 32 count platinum from Witchelt. And I used the same, I don't have them right in front of me. If you want to know what fibers I used, just comment and I'll let you know. But the same colors that I used for my autumn quilt from Primrose Cottage that I stitched as a St. Patrick's Day colors. So I use the same color. So when I finish this, those two will coordinate. All right, and one more finish. I'm going to show you the whole thing. And this is one I need to get fully finished pretty soon. So this is Block Party Home from Hands On Design. So I already had this. I can't remember if I had all of the back stitching done before April or not, but I had all the cross stitch done. And I don't remember exactly when I finished this piece, but this is the top of it. And this is all on 28 count dirty linen. And then the bottom, I haven't decided, you just need back stitches. That's how you're gonna sew it all together. And I haven't decided, I might put my initials and the date on the bottom there. I haven't decided that yet. But when you sew it all together, let me show you. Well, she gives you the wool to put on the top of it, which is covering up everything at the moment. So you sew it together in a block like that. And it comes with the wool, and then I got the pins to go in the top of it. So I have everything I need. I just need to get it all put together. I'm inspired after my weekend with Michelle finishing things to get some other things done. All right, that is all my finishes. So let's see. Next is Whip Go. So I have two Whip Go boards, one full coverage and one Fancy Ladies. And so on my full coverage this month, one of the numbers, and I didn't write down which number was which, was Winter Montage. This is, artwork is by Jeanette Stever, and it is charted by Heaven and Earth. This is on a 28 count even weave, 1/1 full cross, and I did 543 stitches on this. So I started carrying it across, and I'll put a picture in of what it's going to look like and where it was when I started. So that is Winter Montage. So my goal in Whip Go each month is either 500 stitches or 5 hours. So if it's really confetti heavy, sometimes I get 5 hours before I get 500 stitches. I try and get to the 500 stitches. All right, and then my other full coverage is Home for the Winter. And I will put a picture in of what it's going to look like when it's done. And on this one, I did 500 stitches exactly. Oops. Folding these, unfolding them and folding them so that we can show them is always a challenge. And I'm converting this over to diagonal. So I worked in this diagonal. And there is some Kreinik in here. Oh, you can almost see a little sparkle there. It's a really gloomy day here today, so hopefully the lighting won't be too bad. So that was my other full coverage for Whip Go. And then for my Fancy Ladies for Whip Go, and I'm sorry, I am putting things back in the bags because I have so much stuff. It would be a mess if I don't. One of them was Royal Games 1. Let me show you what that's going to look like. So that's what this will look like when it's finished. And I did 546 stitches on this. And I'll put a picture in of what it looked like when I started. the month. And here is where it is now. So I worked on this sleeve over here, mostly. Oh, I plugged in my ring light and then I didn't even turn it on. Ha, there. Sorry about that. I was like, that's kind of dim. Kind of to lack of sleep from traveling and everything. And then the other whip go call for my fancy ladies was Dressmaker's Daughter. And this is actually one of my temperature pieces too. So I think I got all the temperature. I was trying not to double up on them. So I think I got all of the temperature stitching done plus the 500 for whip go, except for one day of temperature I didn't get done. So on this one I did a total of 1,167 stitches. I'm sorry, there's a thread hanging here. Let's put that up here. So I'm working on the summer piece now. So I basically did all this purple. So it will stay on my temperature list, but it's not called for, oh, I didn't grab the whip go calls for this month. I'll have to grab those. I'll have to pause again and do that. Okay, so that will still get work through temperature stitching. The reason I'm leaving it on temperature is my goal is to have it finished. My friend Michelle and I are going to try and go to the Shepherd's Bush retreat next fall, so over a year, and I would like to take that to Rensselaer Studios to have them frame it. Okay, now I think we're ready for the rest of the temperature stitching. So you already saw Dressmaker's Daughter, you already saw Chubby You. Chubby You was called 5 times and had 720 stitches on it, plus whatever I did at Stitch North to finish it. Seasons of the Heart Spring was called 3 times, and I stitched 351 stitches on it. You saw it. And then this is Seasons of the Heart Summer. And I don't have the, I didn't take the whole book with me just to save on weight, but this is what I've got done on it. So before I started, I had the outline of the windows and the door done. So I did this part of the house and then I started working on the piece kit. And I'm missing the color, I bought them, but I guess I didn't get them packed. A couple of DMCs for the inside of the windows and another one. So that one got called 2 times and got 266 stitches. Okay. And then also temperature stitching. This didn't get called any for temperature stitching. It's what is replacing Luck of the Irish. But I did work on it some. Where is how many I worked on it? I don't know. I don't have, thought I wrote that down. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I don't have how many stitches I worked on this, I guess. Oh, yes, there it is. 1,349 stitches. This is Extraordinary Bird Stitch Along. So I'll put a picture in of what it's going to look like when it's finished. This is on 32 count. I think it's Ancient. Yes, 32 count Ancient by Picture This Plus. I'm sorry, I didn't take it off of the, let me just take this top one off. So I do have a little bit more done on the top. There we go. And I think there's like, oh, I don't even want to say, I'm thinking it's like 6,000 stitches for the whole frame. But the first pieces that are coming out in a little over a week are going to be down here. So I made my way all the way down. Now I'll be working down here in the ground area so that maybe I can be ready when the first bird comes out. We'll see. There are a couple of birds already in this first part. There's some kind of vulture that I did up here. And she's real good. And there's a barn owl that goes there. She's real good about giving us information about everything that goes on. So like when we did the Deadly Aquarium, she had all the information there. The same thing with the Greenhouse of Oddities. And so she's doing that with the birds also. All right, and then my other temperature stitch, which is taking the place of the Block Party Home. This is Ladybug Picnic by Hands On Design. This is what it will look like when it's finished. And this is where I am now. And it's on the 32 count pomegranate hand dyed by Steph that it calls for. So cute. I did 297 stitches on this, plus probably another 300 or so at Stitch North. I didn't count all those. So cute. I'm almost ready to start filling in that ladybug. All right, that is all the temperature stitching. So let me just show you some other projects I worked on. All right, let me get back over to my notes. All right. So I took a class at my LNS, Shepherd's Needle. It was a Jeanette Douglas class. Let me pull this out. Sorry, a little bit of crinkling here. And this is the class. So it is Spring Alphabet Garden. And so we got everything to do these 4 pieces. And I didn't bring the spools. I'll have to grab those when I grab my stuff for plans. But we got this little spool, plus we got a big spool that we can put that drum on if we want to. So all I started was the actual spring alphabet. And I didn't get very far, but she was teaching us stitches too. So that's all the farther I got. And this is on, I forgot what she said. It's 36 count, but I don't remember the color. And then we did some practicing. She was teaching us some of the specialty stitches on the little sampler one. So I was practicing stitches on the other end of it. So that actually was going to be in my temperature stitching now. It's going to take the place of, I think Chubby U. Since I finished that, then yeah, because they're both Jeanette Douglas. So that will take the place of the Chubby U now. So hopefully that means I will get some more work done on it. Oh my goodness, too many things. All right, and this is Nature's Journey. The second part is now out, but it's in the Just Cross Stitch magazine. Every time I say I'm gonna need to make a mark where it is, and I never do. This is just the first part so far. Oop, there it is. So that's the full piece, and then this is just a spring part that was in this issue, and the next issue is already out that has the summer. But I haven't even finished the spring part. So this is on, let's see, 32 count vellum from Picture This Plus. And I only worked on it one day and just did 116 stitches on it. I think I just did some down in here. So I still have a ways to go, but it is very pretty. I really do like it. Oops, sorry. All right, and then I worked on my Heaven and Earth stitch along. I'll put a picture in of what it's going to look like. And I did 2,154 stitches on this one. And this is where we are now. So I worked on this seahorse over here in this area. I decided to stop at the second page and not go on to the next one anymore, not keep doing diagonals, so I can be sure I get my 6 pages done that I want to get done. And we have the part that goes below. I just haven't started on any of it yet. I'm going to finish this and then I'll start working down. So fun. It's got so many beautiful colors in it. And I have a piece of fabric that's way too big, but I'm scared to cut it down. Oh. All right, and then the last whip, I believe, is Woman in a Field of Flowers. This is from Stitches So Beautiful. And I can never remember the artist's name. Eder Jose Rosa, I think. And she has usually every month kind of a deal where if you post pictures of at least 250 stitches every week for the whole month, then she'll give you a chart free. And it's one that she's picked out. It's not, you don't get to pick any chart. But I did do that in April, so I stitched 1,131 stitches total on this. And this is where we are now. So I'm continuing on the diagonals, starting to get into some darker colors down here, which is fun. So the next diagonal, I might even actually get into some pretty flowers, I hope. I'm not going to try and do it for May. It was a lot to keep up with that because I had to do that every week. Plus, I'm trying to make sure I move forward on my Heaven and Earth, my temperature stitching, my whip go. That was a lot this month. So I'm going to take a break from the Stitches So Beautiful this month. And then probably come back again. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to pause again and go get my my whip go plans. The rest of it I think is all here. You've already seen, but the whip go ones I need to go get. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So the two whip go calls for my full coverage are Woman in a Field of Flowers. So I will be working on that again this month. And Quick Stitch Psyche's Butterflies. So this is what that one will look like when it's finished. This is the very first full coverage I ever started. It was before I knew, I don't even know if Pattern Keeper existed, but it was definitely before I knew anything about it. It was before I knew about overdyed, gridded fabric. So, and I think I am like about 80% done, I believe. It's just beautiful and it really shows up well on camera. So I think there is a little bit at the bottom, like a partial page, but this is the width of it. So not a lot left. I would love to get that finished this year. We'll see. It is on my whip go board several times because I knew I did want to make some good progress on it this year. So that and the Woman in a Field of Flowers that I just showed you are my two whip go calls for full coverage. And then for my fancy ladies, one of them is Red Lady Pirate. And I don't have written down, I don't think this dyer is dyeing anymore. But it's this beautiful, I can't even remember what the name was, but it's this beautiful fabric that has like ocean and sand both. And I really need to backstitch her eye because she looks kind of freaky. But that is where I will be starting with this one. And there's some Karen water lilies, like some of that water, I believe, is an overdyed silk. So she should get at least 500 stitches this month. All right, and then the other one is At the Met. And let's see if I have the fabric on this one. No, I don't. These were ones I started so long ago, and I think it was at my old LNS before they went out of business. And they didn't put anything on there to identify the fabric, but it's really pretty. It might be a hand dyed down, no, because it would have a thing on there. I don't know. But that's all the farther I am on her. So we got to see some good progress on her. I ought to really be able to tell what I get done on her. All right, those are my whip go calls so those are my plans. And I'll continue to work on my Heaven and Earth designs, stitch along. Extraordinary Birds, I still want to make progress on that. And then my temperature stitching. And then whatever else I feel like doing when I have some time. Okay, I have piles and piles of stuff here. So I got to Toronto last Wednesday. And like I said, I stayed with a friend of mine that lives there, Michelle. And so Thursday, Stitch North didn't start till Friday. So Thursday we went to Gita's, which is a cross stitch store there in Toronto. And so I bought a few things there, of course. I got this kit from Mill Hill, and I picked up this feldspar from Picture This Plus that I don't usually do them on perforated paper, but I think they'll look really pretty on this. So I picked up a piece of that to do them on. And then I decided I needed a little needle minder to remind me of my time in Canada. And there is an N in there. It's just in an A and an N, but they're in white, so they're not showing up very well. And then I decided they had this little, button. And I think what I want to do, let me unbury it, is sew it onto my jingle bells. Since I did this in Canada, that will just help me remember that fun time I had at Stitch North. And then I found, she had some Mirabilia. She did have a Winter Queen and Cinderella. So if you're looking for those, check her out. That's why I got this, so I could show you. So you can contact her if you're looking for those. I did not have this one, Goddess Garden. So I picked it up. And then I wanted to get one that was designed. So the lady that runs this store now, it was her mother that used to run it, and she did some designing. And I wanted to buy something that she had designed. So I got this, I think it's called Fall Bouquet. I thought the colors in it were really pretty. Yeah, and it's just DMC. So, and then I've always wanted to try a Luca S kit. And there's one, I've seen several people on Flosstube that are doing it. It's like King of Flowers, and it looks, I think that was Luca S. It looks absolutely beautiful. I didn't see that one there, which is probably just as well, but she did have this one. What is it called? Nature's Poetry. And it's orchids, which my mom and dad have grown orchids for, goodness, 60 years. And butterflies, and I love butterflies. So it just seemed like the perfect one for me to get. So that was my purchases from Gita's. And then let me show you what we got. My goodness, so many piles. What we got in our goodie bag at Stitch North. So we got a little, and these were, you know, the vendors put these in. A little notebook. A little, let's see who this is from. Gamma's Treasures. So just a little needle book. Very cute. Who's this from? I don't know. But I can't read what's in the middle there. But a seam ripper and then a little thing to get those extra little fuzzies when you rip something out off your fabric. This is from Mislaid Pages. So we got some fabric. And then I think that's, yeah, that's the chart that's in there. This was from, I bought one of her bags. When I get to it, I'll tell you. So we had all these little beads. Let me just pull it out because that's hard to see. And then this rod. So you could just put whatever you wanted on there. I just put mostly beads in that. I could put another one on there, I think. And I have beads left over that I can use for something else, or I can switch out stuff. a cute little, this is Paint with Stitches, just a little chart. She had some really cool stuff there. This was from CanadianStitchery.com, so just a little maple leaf and some twine to put on a project bag. Monkey and Mouse Stitchers, some floss drops, and then the Sewing Shop CA gave us this beautiful, I don't know if it says, yeah, it's just, it's not just, it's cotton, but isn't that beautiful? Beautiful blue. And then this was from Hand Dyed by Rolanda. Gorgeous burgundy color. We got this Lilies of the Valley chart, which is this month is my birth month, so that's my birth flower. And then a scissor fob. This is from, I can't read it. A little scissor fob. This from Tiny Modernist. And then this was all together. So there's a chart. Let me just, I want to show you the chart. But it says in the cookie of life, friends are the chocolate chips. And so with that, we got some Roxy floss. Look at that beautiful pink. And then a little pouch that has some candy, piece of candy. I haven't tried that. Stitched North keychain, and then a little pin, maple leaf pen. So that was in our bag, our table bag from Stitch North when we got there. So lots of fun things in there. Okay, that's that pile. And then, of course, people were giving things away. Table gifts. So for my table gift, I took a little bag like this and I bought these little scissor charms off of Etsy. And then inside there were snacks. Oh, there's more goodies in here I forgot about. And I created a little, I got these needle minders just from Michael's, and then I stamped some flowers on there. And then they had snacks in there. So that's what I gave for my table gift. But then I also got, this is from Kathleen. Let me show you her. Some counting pens. Aren't those fabulous? I love this owl. And this strawberry is so sparkly. Then I think it's shaded. Let me see if it's in here. Shaded Stitchery came around. No, it's something like that, but came around with sticker and some floss drops and a little ring. Just came around to all the tables with that. And then one of the ladies at the table let us each pick out a piece of, or a skein of silk. So this is Be Stitch Me. It doesn't have a name on it. And then another lady came around, and I'll just kind of flash it, but it's a Canadian maple leaf with a heart below the date, and it says welcome, and then also welcome in French. So that's really cute. Would be fun with a really cool over-dyed red. And these are from my table mates. Look at this. Is that not adorable? And then inside, oh yeah, I forgot there was chocolate in there. There's some paper clips and a needle, a little magnet, piece of magnet with a needle. I'm leaving the chocolate out because I'm going to eat that. And let's see, some scissors, needle minder. Somebody else came around and brought these, and I wasn't at the table when they did, so I don't know who brought those. Some stickers. I think they were in this. So this cute bag. Somebody else brought these around, so let me pull them out. Some beads, and you won't be able to see, mine are kind of blue colored. So look at this cute bag. It says, have a good day. And these little pom-pom things are in the bag. So they're inside the bag, like in between two layers. So that came from one of the ladies at the table with the scissors and those stickers. Somebody, no, that came from the same lady. And then one of the ladies made some bags for us. Let me show you those. This is so cute. It's frogget bag. So when you've got a whip that's been naughty and you need to put it in time and out, you can put it in this bag. There's also some beeswax in here. And then this needle minder. So she made that one. And then I also got another one from her. That was sewing. Isn't that cute? All right, I think that was all the table gifts. Then I got, well, no, these were table gifts too. This one was. So somebody had some extra charts they passed around so we could each take one. And I didn't have this one, so I grabbed it. And then one of the women at our table, Dawn, she had finished this piece and she was done with the chart, so she gave it to me. Let me take it out. The Bee Queen. And it's one I've been wanting to get for a long time. So, and then off the freebie table, I picked up a couple. These are dimensions and I'm not sure, RTO kits, but they're just after somebody stitched them. So the only thing that's left in here is the chart and leftover floss. But I have seen people do this one and I've looked at it so many times. But yeah, it's just pattern and extra threads. So I would just have to figure out what colors those were. But since I have the extras, I can match them up. And then this one, Red Mermaid, which I've seen several people doing, which I think is just beautiful. So that was fun to get those for free. So now I have those charts to do someday. Then I did a little purchasing. Oh, one more thing that I got from somebody. So Michelle Bendy had I forgot what she called it, Stitch It For Me or something like that. A chart she was passing around, or a project she was passing around, and she wanted everybody that was willing to just stitch a little bit on it and then, you know, initial where they'd stitched. And she said you could, she had a whole bag full of floss, and she said you can take, you know, pick out what color you want to stitch in and then just take it with you. She said, I don't want it back. So I got some Cottage Garden threads. I was looking to see if I could see what the color is. Skylark, it's right there in big letters. Isn't that beautiful? So I stitched with that and then got to keep the rest of it. So that was fun. So that was another little freebie. All right, and then I did some shopping. I did the pre-order from them, from Evertote. And so, or it was like the project you could pre-order for the event from Pansy Patch. I think they were there the first weekend maybe, but it is called Serenity. So that's the pattern. And then I got the floss, the Roxy floss, the fabric. This is 32 count specula. And then also I did the option where you got the project bag. So is that not beautiful? And then it came with this little pouch with little moths on it. Oh, so nice. So that was a pre-order I did that I was able to pick up there at the event. And then I did buy some fabric. So from Hand Dyed by Rolanda, I bought Moon Shadow. It's just a real pretty grayish with some blue tint. and acorn. I just love this. Is a really rich goldish brown. And these are both 32 count linens. I hadn't ever tried any of her fabrics, so I wanted to try that. And then I did go ahead and pick up another piece of fabric from Roxy Floss Porcelain. I bought this, was a honeybee sampler from Pansy Patch. And then I bought the porcelain to put it on. So now I just have to figure out what threads. Somebody had said that they had heard chickpea, Weekstar Works chickpea was a good thread to go on that, so I'll have to check that out. Then I bought some patterns. This is from Boomerang Stitches, Bobble Birds. I was looking for the bird herd, but they didn't have that one. So I'm gonna have to buy that one online. And then I had never seen this designer, and that's what I tried to do, is buy things I couldn't just get, you know, at my L&S, with the exception of Tiny Modernist. But this is a French designer. I'm not going to try and pronounce anything, but isn't that beautiful? And one of the ladies at my table said if I stitched this on the same fabric we did that Mary on, then I wouldn't have to stitch all those white stitches around. And then this was another one by that same designer. I just love that. So beautiful. And then I went a little bit crazy at Tiny Modernist. It was fun because she was there herself. And so I felt like I wanted to buy some from her directly. So I bought this little crab dance. And Love Grows Here. And Winter Folksy Rabbit. And the Spooky Teapot. Nordic Ornament Tree. Mermaid Terrarium. I have several other terrariums, but I had never seen this one before. And then I did find, she didn't have any of the goddess ones the day before, but the next day she brought some, so I got the Stitch Goddess. She said this was the first one she ever did. And the Stitch Witch. Isn't she fun? She would be fun. I wonder if you could do her on like a green or a purple fabric. That'd be fun. Autumn Traditions sampler. I'll probably end up with the rest of them, but this is the one that it keeps drawing my eye every time I see it, and I've seen some people on Flosstube doing it. Yesterday I was clever, so what it says is, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. And I love the colors in this. And then this one I think was a Patreon one, but now it's out. I had seen people doing it. I thought it was so cute. Forest Friends, and I had her sign this one for me. And then I had a couple other just kind of miscellaneous. Oh, this is Samplery Stitched, where we got the little thing we put the little beads on. So these are some bag tags. Maybe you can kind of see them. I'm not going to open them up right now, but they have butterflies on them. And then this was from Evertote. This really cute moth. I think it's a moth. Maybe it's a butterfly. One of the two. Needleminder. And then I bought some project bags. I am a sucker for a good project bag. So this was also from Evertote, and it's the same fabric as the little that came in my pre-order, but it's a different size and style than I've ever had. So I thought, well, it'll be fun. I'll get that. And then it'll match that little one too. This is from the Stitching Shop CA, I think. Look how fun this is. It's a nice big bag. Look at this fun fabric with all these animals. I think I'm going to put my Anzac in here. And then it has a little rhino charm on it. I just love this. It was a kind of on the last day I saw it, and it was an impulse. I don't remember if this is from no. I'm sorry, I don't remember who this is from, but look at this beautiful bag. If you want to know, let me comment below and I'll look on the vendor list because, oh, here it is. This is from Gamma's Treasures. Okay, good. And it comes with a little thread bed, matching thread bed, and then a smaller matching bag too, all together. Who doesn't love a good set? And then this is simply stitched. Look at this beautiful bag. And it's like faux leather on the bottom. So much fun. I had so much fun. Like I said, the ladies that I sat with, they had sat before together several times, but they included me. I had a great time. I got to meet some other Flosstubers. I met Shiloh from X Stitch MD and Bridget from the Museum Stitcher. And then the one I really wanted to find was Julie from Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World. And so I saw her and spoke to her while I was there. I grew up in a college town in Kansas, about 2 hours west of Kansas City. So that's why I wanted to be sure I met her. And then it was funny, as I was waiting to get on my plane, or as they moved me to a different flight, didn't matter. She was actually on the same flight from Toronto to Chicago on Monday afternoon. So that was fun. I got to see her again. But it was a great time. This is a little bit longer than normal for my videos. I had so much to show you. But I will be back first part of June to show you what I got accomplished in May. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.